And welcome back to episode 62 or 63. Lads, one of you remind me which one it is quickly. We're live.
I think we're 63, are we?
It
think
was
we're
63.
63, yeah.
Apologies. Okay, I thought it was 62. I'm ahead of myself. Apologies. It's been a rough few weeks for me, so
I'll
I've
double check.
lost I've lost where we actually are. I know we're in the early 60s in terms of episodes. I've been away the last 2 weeks. One week I wasn't able to come on. Last week I was practically homeless. Thanks to Storm AO1, left me in a car, left me working out of cafes and car parks and everything. But I'm back.
62.
62.
62. Yeah, I
All
think
right.
so,
I
yeah.
will take your
Yeah.
apologies later on in the show, lads.
Definitely
Um,
63.
yeah, it probably is actually. Thank you very much, lads, for looking after it the last 2 weeks, and thank you to all who are still listening and watching. Um, kind of left you 2 weeks ago, and Liverpool are still top of the table. Arsenal are still chasing. City are still struggling. Man United are still struggling, and we may as well get straight into it. Arsenal are thumped Man City on Sunday. We may as well say that one hurt. I won't lie, because City and Arsenal and Liverpool have been the kind of three main ones. But I mean, to kind of go to Arsenal, I wasn't expecting us, to be honest, to given our form as of late, to win the match. But I definitely didn't see us getting bet that heavily, and deservedly so, because we weren't at the races. Howard, what did you make of the game? Do you see anything that will catch Liverpool?
I just want to firstly say the little bit of needle in the game was enjoyable. The
Yeah, good point.
Gabriel and
Yeah,
Haaland and just the rivalry there. It's kind of even though City aren't in the mix this year as much as they were in the last few seasons, it's good to see that bit of
absolutely.
that bit of needle in there, because like we've had the Liverpool and City years, and the two of them are kind of best buds going for the title, and there was no kind of pushing or shoving or shouting in
Yeah.
people's faces or throwing the ball in the back of people's heads or staying humble. And it's nice to. I know Gary Neville was giving out about it during the game or whatever, but like I don't know what
He's one. He's one to talk.
he's one to talk.
In fairness, over the years,
Like in the grand scheme of
gobshite.
things, like oh yeah. So
Absolutely.
look, I loved it from that aspect. You can see Arsenal are really up for it. Do I see anything that would catch Liverpool? I think look, it's not again the odds aren't going to be in Arsenal's favour this year unless there's a massive few injuries to Liverpool, or they just fall off the bandwagon or whatever. But overall, like even without the title on the line there, I say it was still just really nice to give City a thumping, because there's so many years there where City were flying and like Arsenal were just getting hammered every time they played City. So it was a bit refreshing to kind of get that monkey off your back, if you like. So no, thoroughly enjoyed it. The first half was, as I say, was a game of chess.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
and it was a bit boring, to be honest. I wasn't mad about the first half. It was a bit it was just basically Arsenal get a goal and then kind of like wait for City to score. Like I thought Arsenal were very kind of they didn't really go at City afterwards. They could have put them to the sword a bit earlier, I thought, but then when City got the equalizer, really it kind of got them going,
Yeah,
got them playing. It's like they had nothing to lose. I was like, what are we doing? Just moseying around the place and playing defensive, and they just went for it. And it'd be like that a lot in a lot of games, I suppose, this season. Arsenal have been kind of play with the handbrake on so they wouldn't concede a goal, when if they actually just went for the game, they would have actually reaped the rewards. So, but no, really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, it was emphatic in the end. It was emphatic in the end, but yeah, really enjoyed it.
suppose. What do you think? January transfer window's come and gone now, and you didn't get a striker in the end. Do you think? Did you put in enough effort to get? I don't know what went on yesterday. Like, was there much talk of who might come in, who might not go, or
Yeah, it was. Look, it was very disappointing. I think most Arsenal fans would say like that they expected someone to come in the forward line. Like they're at the bare bones at the moment with
yeah,
Jesus and Saka out. Like so, it was really. I felt they missed the trick there. Even if it was to just get someone in for 6 months. Like I thought they might have. There was talk about getting Watkins. To put an offer in for Watkins for like 40, 50 million. I think Villa wanted 60 million. And I think Arsenal felt for that age, maybe that was a bit of a far stretch when they look at the summer and they have certain players that they want to go after. But like they've been doing this for a lot of time, a lot of transfer windows. They've been holding out for like a player to come in and hopefully do the job. and like pushing the target down the line pretty much, rather than actually just going and getting someone in now. And I think they've done it again. They've done it again in January, which I think is they really could have done with someone like all they have now is Havertz up front as their kind of main striker. If he gets injured, they're really kind of you're shifting players around, and like we don't have the depth even in the wings for people to come in. Like if you bring Martinelli up front, then you're lacking someone in the right wing position. So they really left themselves short. And I think they could have, after the back of the City win, and let's say they got the likes of Watkins or something in, like it would have given the team a big boost, like going into the second half of the season. So I think the momentum in that missed a bit. Like
no, I read over the weekend as well. Arsenal supposedly had an eye on Liam Delap. I don't know.
Really,
I don't know. Like, would he be an answer to that? I don't know, but I mean, it's another option.
I think they're looking at like Sesko or Isaac, depending on how Newcastle finish in the summer. So, I think they said, right, if we signed likes of Watkins or Liam Delap in this window, like that pretty much will rule out going for them in the summer, which you kind of can see. But how crucial that be in the next half of the season, you'll have to wait and see. But it is, it's disappointing from an Arsenal point of view that they didn't sign anyone. But look, scoring 5 goals against City without Saka and Jesus, they still have plenty of goals in the team. Like,
and I suppose fair enough, covered Arsenal. So I suppose on to Manchester City. Mas and Dan will come to look, it's kind of been there for everyone to see that we're going through a very tough time, and someone had said that we'd turned a corner. I don't believe that we have. We've added a few players which will give the team energy, but I think we're very much in a big fight to get the top. Well, it will be top 5. City in general, the whole court case, the verdict will be coming up in a not so distant future. The 4 signings that we made. Is there anything that stands out for you, Mas or Dan? Anyone want to jump in there?
I think Marmoush seems like he's probably the best addition. The addition that's
he definitely looks to have something. Yeah,
I suppose ready to go into the City team. I don't know enough.
One thing I noticed actually about only in 2 games he's played so far is that like he seems to be happy enough taking corners and stuff like that. And apart from Kevin De Bruyne, Alvarez, fair enough, took them as well. But like I haven't seen somebody kind of comfortable taking set pieces apart from De Bruyne for a long time. Foden now and again, but that's just something small. But anyways.
Yeah, no, I just think he's a good addition. He's also, I suppose, in great form coming into the team. Haven't done so well in Eintracht Frankfurt before moving, but I don't know a lot about Kushnerov. I think there's potential there. That's a purchase for the future. Victor Race is it? Again, we'll see how much. I feel like they're kind of purchased with the future in mind. Not necessarily they're going to change it up right now, like as in. And then the addition from Porto of in midfield.
I was about to. Danny, know anything about Nico Gonzalez?
I saw him play. I saw him play against United in the Europa League, and he didn't stay. He was good. He didn't blow me away or anything, but it seems like he has a bit of an engine on him, and there's potential there based on one game.
He's 6'3", if any, so he will bring a bit of size and strength hopefully to the midfield. Because I mean, you're talking about Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan. None of these are giants, like.
No, and he'll get around the place. But if you leave one player, I know Rodri's somehow managed to, but I don't. I think Rodri's been more protected in the way City are at the minute. I don't know if one player can really cover what's been left exposed if they turn the ball over in transition. So look, it's the lettuce into the midfield. It's a benefit. They should have enough to keep themselves in that top 4. But like, biggest concern I have is their attitude and their capitulations again and again this season, to kind of accept mediocrity. Oh, it isn't going our way, and to crumble. Like, as in they had chances yesterday. Raya made an excellent save from Mamouche Ever and stuff. Like, things could have gone differently in that game. I just feel like they consistently, once they starts to go against us, it was against City, it was the same against PSG. They just seem to completely capitulate, and that kind of weakness and mentality, I think, is probably the most concerning issue with City, to be honest.
Isn't it crazy how like maybe last season that wouldn't have happened, and all of a sudden a couple of months later it is happening. Now, fair enough, minus one major player and then a couple of injuries, but I mean the team we had out on Sunday like wasn't exactly a poor team. I mean there's enough players in there, there's enough experience in there to like they know how to manage a game. They should know how to manage a game. They should know how to kind of see a game out. But for whatever reason, I still don't believe it's just Rodri going for injury. But for whatever reason, just so much has disappeared from maybe October onwards in the League Cup game against Tottenham. That's when the kind of first defeat was, and then just it's been shit downhill since. Dan, do you have anything to add to it?
Well, I suppose the interesting part is when the ship started to sink to a point, Pep was talking about when he got all his players back that things would steady, and that hasn't happened. So I think that was in the early stages. He was missing a lot of defenders. We were on here kind of talking about how a lot of them were kind of only maybe on the bench, coming on for a few minutes, couldn't understand why they weren't back in the team. But like he has most of them. I know one or two again have got injured recently, but he had most of his players back, I think, in the defensive areas. But like their midfield is and has been the engine has been the problem all season for them. Rodri is a problem, but also Gundogan can't run. Kovacic really can't run. Still will run around, but when Silva's doing all the running, then he isn't the creative force that can make things happen. And then in a game as big as it was yesterday, to not play De Bruyne again, like that's been an ongoing thing, which you have to question what's going on there, because like he's the most quality player that they have, even though his legs seem to be are on the decline and that, but he is still showing moments of quality when he's played for City. So it's potentially one of their you'd say biggest games of the season, especially with like the bit of needle, as Howard has mentioned, and they left him again in the shallow realm there on the bench.
And yeah, no, it's a fair point. And as well as that, with Walker gone, he has been made like the full-time captain, which makes it even more weird. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you wonder, like Nunes, that court hasn't worked, and we've seen him there for quite a while this season. He's not, he's filling into a position, but like to let Walker go, and then like, is the plan going to be, is Lewis going to be the answer there? Are they going to stick him in at right back? But like they're struggling in that position as well, and I don't think that. I think the scoreline flattered Arsenal, to be honest, on the balance of the game, because I thought in the opening 15 minutes Arsenal were unbelievable. They could have had 2 or 3. They were really pressing City high. But they then kind of went and regressed back into this kind of shell, allowed City to get on the ball. And like, in fairness to City, like they were worthy, I think, of an equaliser in the game. And it would have been interesting if Arsenal hadn't got the deflected goal a couple of minutes later. It would have been very interesting to have seen, though, what way Arsenal would have responded to that, because I think that it was at a time in the game where City were on top. They were kind of controlling things, and Arsenal weren't really. Arsenal looked like they were happy to try and go and try and win one. And in fairness, they were defending quite well with that. But it would have been interesting. I think it does flatter them a bit that it ended up being 5. But as Mossy has said, we've seen it at PSG. Once things start to go against them, they've had several they've been hit for several goals several times this season. Like John Stones at one point looked like he was in quicksand, like he just couldn't fucking move at all to get out near anything. So I know he's only back in the team as well. So like the players they brought in, it'll be interesting to see. Like Marmoush is the signings they brought in. They've spent quite a chunk of change. But when you look at it, if they're players for the future, like in the likes of the centre back they brought in or whatever like that, they're like long-term future. They're not. I don't think they're like going to be starting next August, September for me. The likes of him say. So you're wondering, is the players they brought in and got in January, are they trying to consolidate the Champions League spot by bringing a bit of fresh legs and energy in and new people around the place, or what is it like? Because for me, we don't know anything about the midfielder that's come in and whether or not he's just, is he stopgap? Would he be playing, or would he be Calvin Phillips next season, or he's just sitting on the bench and when Rodri is back? I wonder how them signings that they've got, whether there is a bit of panic more so than maybe what we know with City is that everything is usually handpicked. They're quite good in the transfer window.
Supposedly they've had their eye on this Nico Gonzalez for a while. I know him a bit myself. He's a great lad. But we'll see.
Can I just say a few things there on the Nico Gonzalez thing? I saw like some stats with him compared to the existing midfielders for City, like, and his stats in regards to balls won and forward passes and that. When you compare them to the other City midfielders, he's similar. But when you see Rodri's in comparison to them, like Rodri's like double the stats nearly all the lads have. Which is a bit crazy. Like when you think it's just like he's just a bit of a freak, Rodri, in that midfield. He's like he plays nearly. He's like the power of having 2 players to a point. Like his stats are like double. And like
that's why Pep has been so reliant on him.
And you go and say, oh, we'll throw Nico Gonzalez in there. It's not going to be like a quick fix for Rodri in the grand scheme of things. But just a few things there, like they knew, like I find when I was watching the game, especially when City had the ball, like there was no threat. Like, you know, I think teams have figured them out to a point, like to like say, right, let Akanji have the ball, let Nunes get wide on the wing. Like the fullbacks can like Lou Skelly was pulling in, like tucking in beside the centre backs, making it harder for Haaland, and they were leaving Nunes out in the wing because they knew he wasn't going to get the ball and skin Lewis Kelly and get a run on him, because if he had a run on him, he still wasn't able to skin him. So there was a way of kind of basically allowing City to have basically that it was like 9 versus 11, because Akanji wasn't doing anything with the ball. They were letting him have the ball and they were letting Nunes free. So it was basically 11 Arsenal players marking the other 9. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the pitch, and it was just basically you could see nothing was happening. And I was just thinking at one point when I read a piece, I was interested. Was like, would they not maybe put, you know, maybe even De Bruyne out in that right wing? You know, put him out.
Like, should be playing like,
throw in some crosses like into Haaland, like, you know, like Nunes doesn't have the quality to put in balls like De Bruyne would have.
Yeah, but your point is right, like, because they had so much of the ball. But then you look at Kovacic, you know what I mean? Like, he you know, De Bruyne is that and has been for a number of years in City. You know, along with Foden. In fairness, like Foden was terrible on I think for the large part of Sunday he was non-existent, and you know he still isn't at the level he was last season. But like De Bruyne and Foden have been really the two there that, you know, if Haaland isn't scoring, they'll be the ones that they're chipping in. But like, I just don't get it. I don't understand what's going on there. Like, is it just a thing that he's definitely off in the summer, and Pep kind of knows that, you know, his head is kind of turned, that he's not given 100% commitment, or what is it? Because, or is he carrying something? Like, say that he's carrying something, because like it doesn't make any sense how he's their best player and yet he's been the pit part player all season. Like,
we will see. We'll see what happens. It's an FA Cup weekend this weekend, thank Christ. So Leighton Orient away.
I still think you get top 5 though, Dick. I still think we get top 5.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
Liverpool, Arsenal, Notts Forest. So it's Chelsea, City, Newcastle, Villa are going to be in there in the mix as well. Bournemouth will be in there. It'll be interesting. Dan, we'll stay with you. So Liverpool, to me, they just look, they're going about their business. They're doing what they need to do. They went to a very tricky Bournemouth, who've been excellent in the last little while. So I mean, to me, they look like champions in waiting. Am I wrong with that?
Yeah, like, look, yeah, they're I suppose even when they're not playing maybe that well, they've managed to find out results. That was a tough one, yeah, it was. And like with the Forest game, I think both of them games have been quite tough for most teams. But to have got the win against Bournemouth, I think, at the weekend, given that, you know, Bournemouth were very good in the game and eventually were unlucky not to come away with something, I thought, actually on the balance of it. But yeah, like, I think the fact that Slot has pretty much nearly everybody back fully fit as well coming into February, which is unheard of in the last number of years for Liverpool in particular anyway, the amount of injuries that they picked up is great going into the last couple of months of the season. Decided not to strengthen in January. Would have liked maybe someone else to come in to give Gravenberch a bit of a rest, because he seems to really play every minute of every game for us. And again, at the weekend, he was exceptional. You know, he kind of played a more of a deeper role. He didn't kind of maraud forward. He was a bit more disciplined in the position. I thought he was excellent. And I think the reason we won that game really is because we've probably the best goalkeeper potentially, I think, at the moment anyway. He hasn't been for the last couple of years in the world, in Allison, and Salah, who's the best player in the league at the moment, I think won us that game on Saturday.
Salah's second goal was special.
Yeah, it was. And in fairness, Kirkus gave him a good, like, he looks like quite a good player. I know there was links with him, I think, because we're looking for a left back, but I thought he, in general, in the game has good potential. But yeah, like, it was a great goal by Salah. I think the penalty, like, look, I think it was a penalty. It was one of them though where within the game, I don't think we were really bashing the door down at Bournemouth to get the opening goal. It was very tight, but it did open it up a bit once they got that. And you know, in general, I think that Bournemouth, they have some players there that I like at Liverpool. Like, I thought Semenyo, I think, is excellent. So he gave Trent a fair going over there, I thought, for the majority of the time that Trent was on the pitch. I think he's very good, and I'd love him if you were talking to me about a player that could potentially get anywhere across the front line, who's got at a good age and bucket loads of energy. I think he's one in the summer that if Bournemouth don't get Champions League football, I think a lot of the the bigger clubs will be in for him, But look, they're tipping away nicely. Merseyside Derby now, Everton are flying, so it's another
That'll
one.
be a
But
good game.
but what it looks like is that if Liverpool beat Spurs on Thursday, which I hope and do expect them to do, they're going to have another double 2 games. They'll end up the lead on Arsenal could potentially be bigger because I think they'll end up playing Wolves and Villa. The Villa game will get moved to midweek slot as well. So you could end up where Liverpool have a bit more of potentially of a lead, which is just in regards to the looks of the table, it'll probably put a bit more pressure on Arsenal, even though they'll obviously have games. They might have games then to play or whatever. So and there is a lot of games coming up. That's the thing as well. Can you keep everybody fit? Like Liverpool are still in all competitions. Arsenal have a free weekend now, don't they, Howard? So
they're off to Dubai again.
Off to Dubai, yeah. So it'll be it'll be interesting to see whether or not if Liverpool can keep everyone fit the way they're going and battle on all fronts. Of
I remember. Yes, no. So
they're talking about the quad though, like this quad talk. I see again. I remember the last time this quad talk came up, Liverpool ended up with was it the Carabao Cup, and they maybe got the FA Cup as well. But like this quad talk, when you see a team that are in 4 competitions, like it's that's not done for a reason. So I think at the moment, for me, it's going to be on a few key games. Liverpool have to go to City in a couple of weeks, and even though we see what Arsenal, I still think that'll be a tough game for Liverpool. And Arsenal have to come to Anfield, which is going to be a key game, I think, in the battle as well.
That's not till May, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the end of the season.
It's like the second last game. That would be brilliant, though, wouldn't it? If like it was
we all wrapped up at that stage, Dan.
No, but what? Yeah, but
hopefully, Mass. Yeah.
What if it was the other way? What if it was literally whittled down to like 2 or 3 points, and Arsenal go to Anfield knowing they have to win? I mean, Jesus, that would be some game.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it, Howard. Like at the end, that second half of the season, like Arsenal's fixtures are easier than Liverpool's, and that was something that I think Howard had highlighted here and that as well. So there is, but they've come through quite a few of them difficult games already. But they're of course
just looking at the fixtures, like so the Villa away at Liverpool, and then you have Everton at home.
Playing a Champions League game, Howard. That's a walkover, like.
True. Then they have Everton at home, Fulham away, West Ham at home, Leicester away. Then they have Tottenham, Chelsea, and then Arsenal. So there's the Tottenham, Chelsea. Look, it's the third last game is the Arsenal game, but Liverpool still have 2. Like all they have to do is lose 2 games in quick succession, and that lead is down to could be 3 points. Like, you know what I mean? So it can obviously the way Liverpool are playing, you can't see that happen. But two losses on the trot isn't unforeseeable. Like, you know what I mean?
It's not. No, it's just the fact that they've only lost 1 game all season, I suppose. So you're looking at them to lose 2, but there is going to be difficult games that are going to come up. But you just look at the firepower. Jota's back now as well. That in games that are tight, where Liverpool can bring the likes of Jota off the bench. You look at what Arsenal have at the moment, in particular, that they can bring on, and it's not. There's not too many of them that you'd be hanging your hat on, and I think that could be the difference maker potentially. Yeah, it could be.
I think, to be honest, looking at the whole season, Salah is the difference. Salah
big time. He's surely a shoe-in for the Player of the Year, wouldn't he be?
If you swapped him, and put him in the Arsenal team, it would be a complete flip. He's just that. Any sniff of a chance, and he puts it in the back of the net. And I think. I know you said Alisson there, Dan, but I'd argue Raya is on that level at the moment as well with him. The 2 keepers are, I think, the 2 best in the Premier League at the moment. But when you look up the front and you see Kai Havertz missing an absolute sitter, Salah's not going to do that. You know what I mean? So
poor Salah would be murdered at Arsenal. Arsenal play too slow, too negative. He'd be fucking murdered if he went there.
Okay, come here. Go from title challengers to relegation battlers. Moss. How you doing? I'm only joking.
I refuse to acknowledge that statement.
No, come here.
I thought you were talking about Ipswich.
No, we'll touch on them as well. There was a bad loss for them at the weekend. United 0, Palace 2. I don't know what it was, but did this game kind of go under the radar or something like that? Because it's quite a poor loss to a team that Man United should be looking to beat. It just didn't get the kind of headlines that I thought it would. I didn't see the game.
But to be fair, Palace have beaten or drawn us in the last 6 games, whether away or at home. So they're we don't exactly have a last good record against them the last 3 years. We've lost 4-0 to them away. We drew 0-0 with them earlier on the season. This is their third win in a row in Old Trafford, so it's not new. And there's not
They're
much
going
more
well,
you can say.
Palace, aren't they? They're going well enough, like.
Yeah,
All right.
they've really upped their game. They're unbeaten in 11.
What's going on,
The
Mossy?
last-
What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like Amarin is come in as this savior, and it just hasn't clicked at all yet. Is it just is the system? They're just getting used to the system, or what's?
I don't know, Howard. I honestly don't have an answer for you. I think there's.
I have a question actually, and it was just was it Merson said it today? If Rashford
If you're talking,
goes,
I immediately stopped listening.
no,
And you
he
quote
made
Paul
a good
Merson.
point. He made a good point, and I just said I'd throw it out to you. If Rashford goes to Villa and he does really, really well, and United continue with their poor form, like could that cost Amarim his job?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think Rashford will be the difference.
You're talking about a body of evidence of over 2 years, 3 different managers that have issue with him at the same club. And that needs to go. Aubameyang was brilliant for Arsenal first stage. They got to a point he needed to go.
Yeah.
Ozil was the same. Sometimes players need to leave clubs for club situations and personally. Rashford issue has been in relation to his nightlife issue, and Villa could be equally problematic, or it could be a whole new start. But he's going to be still living in Manchester, commuting to Birmingham, so he's still going to have the same group around him. So I don't know whether it's going to change him or not. Emery usually gets more out of players, and I don't have any ill feeling towards him. He has been probably a bite spark out 5, 7, or 8 out of the years he's been there, but he's not going to lead us on. If he's causing too much issues aside from, and he's an older player, 27, he should be the example, not the problematic player at this age. So if he's not doing what your manager wants, I think they're 100% right. And all I see is like there's better money, sell him on and change up. He's on 350 grand, and I don't care how well he does the Villa. He's not a 350 grand a week player.
Yeah, great.
If that's what Mo Salah's on, then Rashford really needs to up his game to be anywhere close to that.
What's the deal, Massey? What's the deal that he went to Villa on? What was the
they're paying 70% of his wages, or 70% of his wages, and a 40 million buy option at the end.
But it's only option to buy. It's not have to buy.
I think it's not compulsory. No,
okay. Yeah. And is Sancho on the same at Chelsea? It's
Sancho has a buyout clause, but it's not compulsory. Yeah. So he could be back to the summer. But look, we're left very light up front. I think the shows the issues that they exist in our forward line and our strikers, and how underperforming in 41 games between a combined 41 appearances between Xerxes and Highland, they've got 5 goals. So like, it got to the point where he dropped both of them and started Kobe Mainoo as a false 9, and it worked well for about 50 minutes. And United had 2 excellent chances, including it in the post in the first 15 minutes. I think the idea was to drag the Palace back 3 out of position to follow Mainoo as he dropped into the false 9 position. And after about 15 minutes, the defenders, one of the back 3 stopped following him, stayed in position, and United had no response to break it down. And they turned the screw, and they were more dangerous. Their wing backs were absolutely fantastic, up and down, Tyler Mitchell and stuff, and everything that we don't have. We've lost. It's just demoralising when you've gone. Martinez has his issues in terms of a defensive position, but he's gone now with an ACL for the rest of the season. We have unless Luke Shaw comes in and starts playing left wing back, you need a left centre back in Ramlin's system, left footed centre back, and we don't have it unless Shaw is able to go to it. So look, it's one disaster after another. Financially, they're really heading into dodgy territory. They're signing Doglu. We've overpaid for a player, I think, who has potential, but is a bit like Kushnov. He's not really Premier League ready, or he's for a future kind of a purchase as well. And another 18-year-old from Arsenal's academy. So look, I think United are going to seem to be operating on the basis that they're going to develop 17, 18-year-olds. They bought Diego Leon for a left back who's 17 from South America, and they bought
Yoro's only what, 18?
Yoro. They bought a Senegalese fella 2 summers ago who's in their under 18s, and this heavenly guy from Arsenal, and Chuboy Martin. It seems to be that an Ineos plan is to develop these players, bring them through, because financially we're not going to be competing for any big names in the distant future, the near future anyway, unless things start to change drastically. So Amrin, I don't know. He's been very honest. People are slating him for being honest. I get the vibe he's doing what Arteta did at Arsenal, clearing out what he doesn't want, trying to sort out the shit that's going on in the background, and trying to do that and still direct performances in. Like, there's just such a culture and poor performances, and this seems to be one thing after another. But like, people are on about that he needs to change to suit his player strengths, and I completely disagree with that. I think he brought in for a system, let him adapt to his system. This season basically seems like a trial and error to figure out who can fit the system, and there needs to be big changes in the summer. And it's just going to be language. Like, I can't see them getting much better than 12th for the rest of the season unless things massively change.
What's the story with the money? So you were saying there about trying to get what's like in the summer then, are they going to struggle to try and not get the players, well, like the Casemiro's and that, try and get them off the books, but are they going to be in trouble at trying to, does the attraction part based on where they finish the league?
Well, attraction, well, see, with all their purchases over the last couple of years, they owe over 380 million in transfer fees. 150 or 160 million of that is due in this calendar year. For the likes of Anthony, and some of them are going back as far as Sanchez. Like, they're still paying for their transfer mistakes, so that's a huge financial burden straight off. So there's a kind of an undercurrent that Rashford being managed out of the club is an Ineos pushed initiative as well due to his wages. Casemiro will be gone hopefully in summer. Christian Eriksen will be gone. Lindelof will be gone. They're all decent wages that they will hope to, and they would imagine Rashford and probably Sancho would also have been cleared off the books. Anthony hopefully as well. So like, that's a lot of changes that would free up money.
Okay.
Tough being a Man United fan at the moment.
Yeah, Mossy, like, we do feel bad for you. Like, we do, like, you know, there's like, we can feel the pain.
When other
usually
fans
try and fight, Mossy,
genuinely start to feel sorry for you, you know it's bad.
Yeah, but I can even see it in your face. Like, usually there's a bit of fight and a bit of, like, you know, positivity. You don't even have any of that.
Well, because you're like genuinely playing against Crystal Palace in position below you, and they're better than you. Like, that's the truth of it. Like, you know, as in that's where they're at. Like,
okay, we'll move on. A couple of words on a few teams that are flying at the moment. Nottingham Forest being one of them. Nottingham Forest find themselves in third. So, I mean, there's 14 games left. Surely they're not going to let this slip, and they will be in the Champions League next season. Would you agree? They're not going to.
Conversation with me last week. I think they will be. I think I said it last week. I do think that they will. Yeah.
You think they're going to stay in the top 5?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Howard, you don't?
No.
What do you see happening?
I don't know. I just don't see them keeping up this form. Like, you know, I don't know why I say this, but I just think I'm going to base it off only like previous teams of that ilk, who probably wouldn't be fancied for the Champions League places, not actually holding the consistent form near the end of the season. And I think the likes of Chelsea and Newcastle and City just will have too much for them and are pushing out. And maybe they get 5th, and maybe they hang in there and get the Champions League. And I'd love to see it, like, you know, be class.
Yeah.
But I just have that feeling, like, I just can't imagine Chris Wood banging goals in Champions League.
Honest to God, I mean, what's he call it? Well, there's some of the players that are there, like Alanga, Chris Wood. Yeah. I mean, these, like, you know, these.
What's an annoy?
Yeah. You know, you wouldn't regard them as Champions League players, but I mean, Jesus Christ, they have got them.
I know, Dick. If you watch the new Champions League format, there's at least 8 teams there.
I can't even comment on Champions League standards this year.
No, I know what you're saying, Dick. Yeah, but like that is there's.
Nuno has got them playing. They have been backed, and I mean, what was your man's name that was over them the year that they went mental in the transfer market?
Cooper.
Yeah, no, because of Cooper. Yeah, and they must have bought like 30 odd players. Like, everyone thought they were going ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, the owner has backed them. He's reaping the rewards of backing his team financially, and I mean, they're in third.
I'm manager.
100%.
Because there was talk when they were close to getting relegated or whether or not he get the shot. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. And I mean, they're in, like, they are, look, Nottingham Forest, fair enough, for the last few years, they have not been a big club, but I mean, look, you're talking about European winners back in the 70s of Brian Clough, so I mean, they are a big team, and I mean, they've been gone, now they're back, and I mean, they're in third. I think they will stay in the top 4, top 5, and it would be class to see them in Europe. Moss, do you think they'll stay in the top 4 or 5?
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah, I think that I said last week after the loss 5-0 that had happened to them against City. The last 3-0 and they were poor, and they came back and responded, and they responded well. What a performance! But the Hurslers formation of 4-1-4-1. Or Hasselwood had a Hinklewood.
Right.
Sorry, he was trying
Does
to
anyone
cover
like that
four
guy?
Brickman.
That manager, like he's one of
Fabian
them
Hurtzler.
faces. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't stand him.
It was like he
He's
was playing
rather
FIFA at the
aggressive, right?
weekend,
Yeah.
though, wasn't it? It's like he
Sorry.
was playing a game of FIFA there. Like it was like, and it was
Yeah.
just madness to watch. Yeah, it
It was
was.
insanity. Now they were very poor, and it's been a weird season for Brighton considering the amount of money they spent in the summer. They bought again in January. Um, it's been very inconsistent. Like an awful lot of draws in the last 12 games have been very poor at times, and then getting responses in second halves and things like that. So I don't know. It's an interesting. He feels like he's got too many players. He's always rotating it. He doesn't and is, I suppose, trying to keep everyone happy and a squad happy, and it just doesn't seem to be getting the best out of it. So from that point of view, I'd be a little bit concerned from a Brighton point of view, but Nottingham Forest, fantastic performance.
Absolutely. Okay, now another team that are slowly kind of putting form together is Everton. So our good friend David Moyes is getting a tune out of Everton. 3 wins on a bounce. You know, definitely going up the table bit by bit. 4-0 at Leicester at the weekend. New owners coming in, new stadium. You know, could it be a summer of spending for Everton? You know, could this be the dawn of something new, or is it just another, you know, kind of whatever you want to call it?
Flash in the pan.
Literally. Yeah. How do you think Moyes is doing her?
I think, look, I could think he could maybe bring them up to where he had them originally. Like, you know what I mean?
You're talking 4th to 5th.
Yeah, like he could get a shootout out of them to that level in maybe the next. Like, look, I think Moyes and Everton just go together. Like, you know, the Everton way is that that's what they say
Bread and butter.
out in Merseyside.
Yeah, it's bread and butter, absolutely.
So no, look, I think you know, I always like Moyes as a coach. Very kind of pragmatic. Yeah. You know, keeps down to the basics. So, and I think the fans do have a bit of an affinity to him, and I say that might grow if these results keep getting better and better. Like, you know, I think the Dyche thing, like, you know, Dyche has his own level, and his level won't be above the top 10 like anytime. So he you know, Moyes at least has that bit of you know, class in him that he bring them up to another tier again. So let's see how they go. But I'd be interested to see how the Merseyside derby goes.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Any manager who gets Beto to score 2 goals should be up for manager of the year.
Definitely. Yeah, I think Moyes. I think he's a fantastic manager. And I mean,
well, he's done, and like that. Like there's the bounce, but also it seems that they're you know, he brought in 1 or 2 players. I think that O'Brien lad, Glenn was on to about him, that like Dyche wouldn't entertain him at all. Who has come in and
O'Brien, is it?
Yeah, and do you know, like, yeah, as you said there, like Beto, like everything seems to be going right for them at the moment anyway. And in fairness, they've been seriously in the doldrums for quite a while. So it'd be interesting.
Just 1 more week, Dan. They need to keep it up for 1 more week. Isn't that right? 1 more week.
But you wonder. You wonder, is Moyes, though, is he the long term, or was he the stopgap to like?
I think he's the stopgap. Yeah,
like, you know, going into the new stadium, like, it's more of a transition. Yeah, I think that's more of it. I don't see him long term, potentially being the one there. But like, you know, financially they've been wrecked, haven't they, over the last couple of years? So you'd imagine that the new owners would throw a few pounds in there with the new stadium and the whole lot. And at the moment, looking at the other teams and the bad some of them are, you think that they're only 1 or 2 wins probably away from. You think they might be not too far off safety now when you look at the table, like, you know.
Just on the table itself, I suppose. So Ipswich 1, Southampton 2. Ipswich needed that at the weekend. They really, really did, and they
unforgivable.
Moss, care to comment?
Yeah, I've watched the highlights like 4 times trying to understand how they lost to Southampton, and they just like got, particularly the second goal was like, you see the consequences of having an absolutely atrocious goalkeeper. Morich was a fault for at least 2 of those goals. He was appalling. And they were pushing and had chances and they weren't clinical. So look, it was fair play to, I think, since the new manager has come in with Southampton, he's actually got a bit of a tune out of them, and they look a lot more solid and a bit more dangerous. But
It's far too
I think
little,
that's
too
going to
late.
be.
Like they are done, aren't they?
Oh, it is. No, they are. But like it takes. I still respect what their
Yeah,
changes he's made. But yeah, that's a critical blow, I think, for Ipswich. Wolves winning as well,
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
it just looks like the same three are going down. Leicester
yeah.
just seem to be languishing there, and don't seem to be doing anything anytime soon.
And crazy that Van Nistelrooy was talking about leaving as well. Like just a couple of
Yeah,
days after, well, not a couple of weeks after joining and stuff like that. So I mean, it does look like that in Southampton, Leicester, and possibly Ipswich. Wolves winning against Villa, which is a huge win. Everton pulling away. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it could be a boring enough relegation battle unless something happens over the coming weeks. Elsewhere, Newcastle won, Fulham 2. That was a big win for Fulham. See, they brought back Willian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An odd
Back
move. Did you
from
see that,
Dortmund.
Moss?
no, I didn't see that at all.
They brought back Willian on a free transfer. They brought him back yesterday.
Oh,
He,
jeez.
Only
yeah, he's some
13.
sort of, I don't know what it was. I read something before about that. But I don't know, is there a, does he own a lot of properties or something he has like, there's something about him and Fulham, and it's not just that he's played from about 100 times now at this stage, but there's something else with him. I can't remember what it was now though. I think
Okay.
Random.
Yeah, very random. Didn't see that one at all. Chelsea 2, West Ham 1, Brentford 0, Spurs 2. I didn't see Spurs getting any out of that, but yet there they go. That's what Spurs
yeah.
do.
On that
Yeah.
like Spurs' XG was 0.75.
Uh,
Brentford's was over 2.25. The chances Brentford missed in this game were insane. And
can you read much into XG or is it a load of shite?
no,
Mossy loves
but
it.
I
I
know, yeah.
love it. I
Howard
love it
Howard
when it
does as well.
reinforces my
I like
point.
it. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I just thought Spurs got a bit of luck for the first time, maybe, and
Probably deserved, in fairness.
probably
It
have
was a
been
bad
held
game
back a
though.
bit.
Did you watch it? I watched that one, and I don't know. The last 2 weeks I watched Brentford. The last week it was against Palace as well, and just there were hard watches both of them the last two games. Yeah.
Do you know anything about this Tell lad from Bayern?
Go on.
Tell me
No,
more.
Ah,
Other than he's like an absolute tease. No, I don't know other than that.
he's 10 million for the loan.
okay.
Yeah, he's
Euros for a
19.
6-month loan.
He's 19,
10
like,
million, and
for a
then
player they're not playing.
they have a buy option for like 45 million. Then if they want to, so I think the offer they put in originally was like 60 million to buy him outright, and then Bayern said no, we'll loan him. So they loaned him for 10 million loan for 6 months, and then 45 million. Then if they want to make it permanent, obviously he has to agree to that as well. I hear a lot of people saying he's like actually like has serious potential. He's
But
both
like,
footed off the wing.
he rejected Tottenham last week. That's what I find really funny. And now all of a sudden he did a U-turn. I mean, if I was a
Yeah.
fan of Tottenham and this player has kind of rejected us, then thought about it over the weekend and said, "No, feck it, I'll do it for a few months." I mean, it's not exactly saying I cannot wait to play for your club type thing.
No,
It
Yeah, I want to
also
know
happened
what went on.
after United refused to pay his loan fee. He suddenly went back to Spurs.
Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. Look, we'll see how they get on. A very big game for them on Thursday against Liverpool at Anfield. So, I mean, look, it points towards Liverpool overturning that. But it would be brilliant for Spurs to get into a final against potentially Newcastle. I said this before, Newcastle and Spurs in a final. I mean, you'd love to see one team just triumph, and the other one is just like, they may as well just call it a day because they'll be waiting again for years and
Yeah,
years
there is
to.
that, but there's also it'll be good banter though as well if they get knocked out of the FA Cup at the weekend and get knocked out against we get overturned them. It'll be good crack come the weekend. The fact that they are out of two more competitions and is literally putting all of his egg into the Europa League
Europa
basket
Yeah.
League.
for that trophy.
Who do Spurs have in the FA Cup?
Villa away, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
tough.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a tough
okay.
one. All right, so that was the weekend. Just a quick one on the transfer window. I suppose, did any transfers stand out for you? Any players that you're looking forward to kind of seeing? Any ones that you think was a joke of a purchase?
Evan Ferguson, be good. See him
Yeah,
at West
for
Ham
West Ham, that'd be a good one. Needed it,
if he can
definitely.
stay
I
fit.
feel
Like, you
like
know what I mean?
it's the worst place. Any striker that goes to West Ham is jinxed. Like, absolutely jinxed. I was like, please don't go to West Ham. Your career's going to bottom out after it. But yeah, no, I hope
He did need
they
the move
needed
though.
someone up front, so I hope it goes well.
Yeah.
I think Malin to Villa is an interesting one from
Actually,
uh
Villa, yeah, they went
Villa have had an
mental.
interesting window, like, as in they sold Philogene, for 25 million to Ipswich, which seems like great business. Bringing in Rashford, bringing in Malin up front, like who was a huge part of Borussia Dortmund's push to the Champions League final last year.
Asensio.
Yeah.
And was robbed of a goal as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He did actually that goal. Did you see that?
That was ridiculous. Yeah.
Absolute horrendous decision.
Yeah. Ruled out from the VAR.
Yeah.
For Rodgers being offside or interfering with play while offside. And then I watched last night where Cucurella was clearly offside in the Chelsea game, but it was too far back apparently, so you couldn't give that. I was like, well, this makes no sense, but we won't go down that road. It's too late in the game in the podcast.
No, Villa I kind of thought Mossy had a good point last week when he said about Ferguson potentially go into the Championship for 4 or 5 months, start whacking in goals, get the confidence going again, because it is now like West Ham really need a striker to start scoring goals for them, and they've been looking at Antonio for the last couple of years, the guy that they brought in in the summer hasn't worked out. So like there is kind of pressure on Ferguson to kind of hit the ground running, where it might have been well for him to just have, been such a young player to have gone through. But it'd be great to see if he starts whacking for West Ham, and it'd be brilliant from an Ireland perspective, and of course for West Ham. I think that there was a few other kind of strange ones. The Chilwell one for me was strange because I think Eman Mitchell is quality a left back for Palace. So like, does Chilwell go in there? Like, is he going to play?
I think he's just cover. I think because they lost Chalobah, it's another option in defence. Yeah. Chalobah was called back by Chelsea, so I think they just wanted Chilwell couldn't get it.
Yeah, but I was just surprised that likes of Chilwell couldn't get a club and a starting left back spot because I mean, like, it wasn't that long ago he was England international, fighting with Luke Shaw for the left side of the spot. Like, and I thought he was a decent player, but it was just bad that like I think he went on loan to the club that. Yeah, as you said, Massey, I thought the same. Like he won't be starting there. Like, considering his quality, I thought he might have got a start somewhere. And there was one other one.
Joe Felix.
He's fucking well travelled.
What the hell is going on?
What's that, right? So Chelsea signed him 6 months ago for 57 million. Put him on.
Well, they only bought him so that the Gallagher deal would go through. They let it go and do the Gallagher, lest they took Joe Felix off the books.
It's so weird, though, isn't it? The whole
so they bought him.
You see players now, like even Matthias Tell, like Chelsea were mad after him. He didn't want to go there because he was like, "Why?" Like players are not going to want to go to the likes of Chelsea now with this kind of ethos in place where they're just like buy them in, sell them on, buy them in, sell them on. Like even Dizazi now gone to Villa. Like it seems like a very strange structure to have in place there. Completely weird.
Yeah, I have the other one. It was you followed that one with Lloyd Kelly, Newcastle.
Oh. So he was Italy, didn't he?
Yeah, so it's really weird. So he was a free transfer from Bournemouth, right, in the summer. Went to Newcastle on a free, played fuck all, and he's gone to Juventus on loan. But the obligation of 20 million to buy, so only got 20 million from him. What the fuck's that about?
Obviously, to clear the contract, I don't know. It's like that's a strange.
Like it's just they've got a basically got a player for free.
You'd wonder what's going on, Dan. There was the Douglas Luiz deal as well. Like, what they swapped? Who did they swap? Wouldn't they swap a couple of players or something for Douglas Luiz that time?
Yeah,
I wonder is there all this kind of
that was Villa being tight in FFP though. That was to do with Villa being on the line in FFP, and the only way they could get through was that.
But is there a thing that maybe they told? I don't know. Like it seems like there's a lot of movement of money and players around that. Like I don't know. It seems all a bit strange. Like
who owns Juventus? Like curiosity, Howard, you'd be man to know things. So is there?
I don't
know.
Silvio Berlusconi, man, fucking.
But like it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Didn't
Yeah,
it is weird. It is very.
It's like 20 million. Newcastle need money because they were. It was talking again like they might have to go and sell again. With the financial regulations, and suddenly like Kelly's up Juventus for 20 million.
There is like you never know what could be going on, like third parties in the background, ownership, stuff like that.
Anyway, that was what I thought was a strange one. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, look, a busy transfer window for City. We'll see how that kind of comes over the next few weeks. Mamouche looks decent. I'm hoping that Gonzalez can do something because we need something midfield. The defenders, I agree, they're definitely bought for the future in mind. But despite his first 5 minutes, Abi Kouch, I do think he will turn out to be a really good buy for City. All right, fantasy football update. Big update because somebody hasn't been knocked off their perch.
Oh,
It's great to see. It's great.
Is
This
it?
is
Is it
why.
good?
This is why it came back on.
It'll kill you to get the jersey, won't it? It'll kill
Not
you.
at all. No, I prefer to give it to somebody I know than one of these other weirdos I don't know. You know. I'm only joking.
We
But
had,
yeah,
so it was
was
an
it
interesting week.
was
So
it Chris Wood
basically,
that did it to you?
Chris Wood for me this season has caused me a lot of damage. Yeah, in
Yeah.
fairness, him in particular. But it was a really interesting week because the triple captain was played by a few, not too many. A lot of people went down the system manager. So it's a system manager chip now, Declan. Don't know
I
you're
heard
good
something about this. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, your system manager chip was activated there about 2 weeks ago. You could activate it. So I activated mine at the weekend with slot because Liverpool are playing twice.
What does
Basically,
it
the way it
mean?
works
Like,
is
how does it work?
so if your team wins, so you have to have money to buy in your manager. So you have to like basically if you own 3 Liverpool players, which a lot of people did, you had to go and get rid of one of them to bring Slot in as the manager.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And if Liverpool win, so basically the system manager is for 3 weeks. So once you activate it, you have to use it over the next 3 weeks. But you can change your manager each week to a different one. So the points are if your team wins the match, you get 6 points for the team winning. If you get a clean sheet, it's 2. I think is it 2? Yeah, 2 for clean sheet. And then each goal that you score, it's worth a point. So a lot of people actually went for Everton because they're playing twice as well, and they're cleaned up at the weekend with him, with David Moyes, because they won the game, scored 4 goals, kept a clean sheet. But yeah, system manager chip was a lot of people decided to play that over the triple captain one. So what you potentially have is like, for example, I have slot, people have Moyes, so they have 2 games this week. Then Liverpool, if they beat Spurs, will have a double game week the following week. They'll have Wolves and Aston Villa. So that could be another. So you could, for your system managership, you could end up having 5 games as opposed to just 3. So that's why a lot of people went down that route. And then some did triple captain Salah. There was a couple there as well that had big weeks.
Couple big. I'm looking at the table here. Like, I mean, a couple very big scores. Brian O'Sullivan got 105. John B. O'Keefe. John B. O'Riordan got 102.
Yeah, the guy, the first guy you mentioned there, Brian O'Sullivan, he triple captain Salah. So like you're looking at the table there now, but there is still the Liverpool game that will still come into that Liverpool Everton game, which is still coming into that game week. So he likely will move up again if Salah is to get some more points. But Padraig Clark, I like his name, Escape from Victory. So he's leading the way at the moment, and then Geezers, Aidan O'Neill is second. So and then my brother is creeping there as well.
Yeah, I just saw
he wants another jersey off. He was telling me, yeah, he wants this one to be a gold one. He went to 2 years
very good,
pro. So, but yeah, so that's kind of the way the system managership will be an interesting one over the next couple of weeks. And also, if you use your system managership and pick a manager who's 5 places, your team is 5 places below in the table and gets the win, you get 10 points. So people who may be struggling, not talking about anyone else in the group here, might need to gamble on a few managers down near the bottom of the table. But yeah, that's another one as well.
Howard, is that at you or is Moss, is that at you? Who's
that's me. About? It's me.
What happened? Talk to us.
I made a few bad decisions in the huddle.
you made a boo-boo.
I was looking at your team here, Moss. Did you use any? You didn't use any of your chips, did you?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't have many left anyway. I have the system manager was the only one and I didn't fully understand that, so I didn't do
it. Yeah,
I'm explaining it well to you now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, I don't get this at all.
But yeah, just looking at the table there, like I'm looking at you, Howard.
Where are you, Howard?
You made a go.
Howard. I didn't realize, right? I didn't realize he couldn't play the triple captain and the assistant manager at the same time. Like,
no, so if you use your assistant manager chip, you can't use another chip for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and there's only going to be another. There's only one more double game week apparently in the fixture list, isn't that it? So far.
There's one later on. Yeah, so basically what will happen now is whoever's in the Carabao Cup final, they'll have that'll have an extra. There'll be another, there will be another double game week not for everyone, though, only for some sides. But also, actually, if Arsenal were to overturn Newcastle and get to the Carabao Cup final, they'll have a double, I think, as well. I think that where Liverpool will be playing Villa, Arsenal will have one, and Chelsea will have one or something as well if Arsenal overturn Newcastle, I think.
I think I missed a trick by not having played one of them this week because you should probably play a triple captain or an assistant manager.
Definitely a double game week. Yeah. So like pretty much if whoever ends up with a double game week after this week, you'd be kind of looking at playing.
Yeah, I should have triple captain. Fucking missed that.
Yeah, I look at it in hindsight now. I probably should triple captain as well. I was just, I suppose, given the 2 games and the way both teams have been doing with Everton and Bournemouth, it was a hard one to know whether to play or not play it. But I still have that one to play, and I can't remember, one of the lads above me has it to play, and the other doesn't, I think, as well. So, but it's there's a long way to go still.
Good to see it being competitive, and it's very good to see you knocked off the top. I won't lie, Okay, Super 6. Dan, your brother Richard is still on top.
Yeah, he's chipping away there. Yeah,
he is, and I mean it's amazing because for something that you need to be fairly accurate each week in order to kind of get the points to stay on top. He's been on top for a long time.
Yeah, but the stingy bastard loves free money, so
Fair enough.
No, fairness, he's gone well, but it's kind of tightened up a bit there as well. I was even looking at it myself, going, I'm 36 points. A while ago there, I was like 60 points off him. Yeah, just getting the odd result here or there, but he's dried up a bit there at the top. But there's not much in it. If you have 1 or 2 good weeks, but it's so hard. Fucking I got done by Arsenal. That's why I was so annoyed about Sterling missing that penalty, because I had 3-1 Arsenal, and I was like, fucking Sterling of all people to give him. Who'd ever give him a penalty? Yeah, I would have been better at taking it. And that done me, because that would have been a nice. I think that week I was doing all right, and I would have got a nice little jump there. But that's it, boss. It's all about just you need to correct scores.
You get like a week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks where you get 1 or 2 5s in. That's all the difference.
It's so hard. Fucking the way this year in particular, it's just it's wild. Some of the results
galore, and no one can keep a clean sheet. And then if you give them a clean sheet, they don't have a clean sheet. Yeah.
But anyway, he's still on top anyway at the moment. But he reckons that he's going to be like myself, knocked off his perch. He does reckon it's coming.
Fair enough. This coming weekend, it's all FA Cup games. So Everton and Bournemouth. Yeah, some of them are, fair enough. Everton and Bournemouth, Southampton and Burnley, Villa and Spurs, that'll be a good game. Brighton and Chelsea, that'll be a good game. Birmingham and Newcastle, Plymouth and Liverpool. So Dan, Plymouth and Liverpool, away to Plymouth.
Yeah. I think they'll win 3-0. Yeah, I think it'll easy enough.
Birmingham and Newcastle.
I go 2-0 Newcastle. Yeah, I think that'll be comfortable enough. They play Wednesday, don't they? And it's a Wednesday, Sunday.
It is Saturday evening.
Yeah, no, I still think that. I don't know what Birmingham are League One. Are they doing all right? Are they?
I couldn't tell you.
They're League One. They're top of League One, I think.
But I go Newcastle anyway.
There's always an upset, and I think it'll come in the Southampton and Burnley game.
Would that be an upset
in there?
I think there will. Yeah,
top of League One or versus the bottom of the Premier League, or top of Championship.
A Premier League team going out, anyways. I'd say Southampton and Burnley, Moss.
2-1 Burnley is what I went.
Yeah. Everton and Bournemouth.
Just to point out, Burnley have the best defensive record in the Premier or in the Championship. Scott Parker is their manager, and he's the most hated man by the fans. They despise him. Really? It was a recent game between Leeds and Burnley that finished 0-0. And it's been flagged as the new worst game of all time.
Wow. Oh, okay.
He's so defensive, is it? Is that it?
So defensive, yeah. They struggle to score goals, so 2-1 is probably optimistic. But Scott Parker is still doing Scott Parker things, and nobody likes him.
Very good. Everton and Bournemouth, Moss, what do you think?
Everton and Bournemouth, I have this going 3-1 to Bournemouth.
Okay, interesting. Howard, Brighton and Chelsea.
Oh, Brighton and Chelsea. I'll go 2-0 Chelsea. 2-0 Chelsea.
Yeah. And Southampton, sorry, I did that one. Aston Villa and Spurs.
Oh.
Probably the game of the round.
Oh, I'll go...
Spurs have to play Thursday as well.
1-0 Villa, yeah. I think Villa will just nick it.
Very good. And brilliant. So again, the winner of the Super 6 will be the recipient of €100 cold hard cash come the end of the season. And for the fantasy football, they'll be the recipient of a club football jersey of their choice. I think that is nearly us, men, for this week. It's good to be back.
Can I ask you, Nick, just about the Champions League, just the next round, and you know the fact you got Madrid, and just give us your take.
Foes. Lucky to get by Club Brugge, and it's shocking to have to say that. What do you call it?
Nothing you can say after saying that, Jack, is going to fill us with much confidence from
Not at all. Look, we ended up in 22nd, and I mean, going into the season, you knew like 1 to 8 got automatic, 9 to 16th. Sorry, did I say that wrong? 1 to 8 got automatic, then 9 to 24th got into this playoff thing. Look, I would have thought we were a certainty to get into the first, the 1 to 8, but I mean, it's not the way it's happened, and we've been just Feyenoord. We were 3-0 up. We drew 3-3. We lost 4-1 to Sporting. Went to Juventus, got rightfully bet. Went to Paris Saint-Germain. We got bet off the park in the second half. We probably don't deserve to be in the next stage of the competition, but we're there. Madrid have been struggling in Europe themselves. Not to the same extent as us, but I don't see us getting by them unless the new signings prove to have a major change in the very kind of next 2 or 3 Premier League games and something clicks, but I don't think it's going to happen that fast. So I don't think we'll get embarrassed by Madrid, but I don't see us getting by Madrid, to be honest. That's as straightforward as I can give. We're not going to be doing much. Try and get into the top 5 in the Premier League, and that'll be some sort of a redemption for the rest of the season. But again, we have to kind of contend with this thing coming in March. I think the verdict, like whatever happens there, is going to have obviously a huge kind of knock-on effect to what happens in the summer. You'd imagine in terms of who goes, who leaves, who we buy.
You see one of them guys, I can't give his name now off the top of my head, but he came out with a damning statement saying that it's going to shake the core of English football.
Who said that?
Can't think of his
name.
Said
that, Dan?
He's he one of the guys from the Athletic, like some sort of big financial correspondent. Like he's well like respected. He's not like some fucking Egypt in the pub like that. But
fellas on a podcast.
Yeah, he said I'll find it and I'll
do not send it on. But
I'm
again,
sure he said something online. It's the biggest scandal to hit English football, and it's going to shake it to its core.
But what's he basing it on? Because I mean, nothing has been leaked. That's the thing, like
He basically said that based on the grounds for the whole case, that City will have very little grounds to appeal it.
Yeah.
That there's not much for them to work on in regards. It's not just a straight case that the verdict will come out and they can appeal it. And I don't know. Did he say something like that it was going to be a large? You reckon it was going to be a large points deduction? That could be another guy. There's 2 or 3 of them. Did it be on Talk Sport on the Athletic? I think there's 2 lads. One's on Talk Sport. I don't know, is he from the Athletic or he's from somewhere else? But there's 2 of them that have been following it that are big into the whole financial side of it. And I just remember that quote. I thought it was like it's going to shake it to its core.
Very good. But again, look, for everyone that's saying that we're going to get points deducted, etc., there's another lad saying we're going to get away with it.
I haven't met him.
I did do something wrong there. You did do something wrong. Is it?
No, I'm saying, it's all, what do you call it? It's all interpretation. It's all how you look at it. It's all about perspective. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And when it does, it'll be a very, very good episode. The one after the verdict, it'll be very interesting. Just to see where exactly we're going to be next season. Or maybe we'll get expelled from the league straight away. We won't have to even worry about Champions League football. We'll have to worry about whether it be League 1 or League 2, or Conference, North or South. We'll see. Right, that's my lot for the week, man. Anything you want to add before we finish up?
No, that's good. Thanks, Dick.
I think it's Stephen Borson.
Oh yeah, he's the big. Yeah, he's ex-City actually.
He might know where the bodies are buried, really, Howard.
Yeah.
He's only giving out about trying to blacken our name because we got rid of him. Clearly,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, man, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much as always. Cheers to everyone for listening and watching, and we will be back next week for episode 63. Are you sure it's 62 this one? We don't know. It's somewhere in the 60s. Somewhere in the 60s. We will be back next Monday. All right, lads. Thank you very much.
You know what, Dec? Listen to you talk about numbers there. You know you're a City fan anyway. Kind of messing.
The money was resting in our account. All right. Have a good one, man. Good luck.
Bye, lads.
Cheers,
See you later, guys.
Good
Bye.
luck.
See you,
Good
lads.
luck.